to record. Okay, already started. Is coming. So the first very simple question is, when it was the first time you met the brand Pernod Ricard or somebody in particular?
Sure. Interesting enough, I was actually in, as I think Peter alluded to in his introduction, the first time I actually, with Royal Salute, as it would, the first time I had ever learned of that brand was in Nihiwatu, in Nihi Sumba, a small private island about an hour outside of Bali. It was at a British Polo Day event.
Okay.
And I actually happened to have been on the island for other business when British Polo Day was there. So my intentions were different, and suddenly British Polo Day had arrived, and soon thereafter I met Peter Prentice.
Okay, and what happened then?
And the events of British Polo Day as a singular organized event was highly curated, but it just felt so natural. There was excitement, there was camaraderie. It felt like an intimate wedding. There was just an intimate gala. And as part of this intimate gala, this Royal Salute beautiful flag on bottle was kind of around in the environment, and you saw it, and it had the beautiful, polo design on it. And we were having drink after drink, and it became enmeshed in the overall incredibly unique and positive experience. So that was my immediate experience with the brand was in that setting, and I had never even heard of it. It's tough to get in the States unless you're getting it at duty free. Very few stores even hold it, even in Beverly Hills and Los Angeles.
Okay, so you didn't know the brand before, or maybe
I didn't. I knew Chivas and I knew Picard, but I didn't know of Royal Salute in and of itself.
So apparently it was a good first experience.
Yes, it was.
Okay, and then after that, what happened?
So interesting, because I had within that circle of British Polo Day, I had attended many such British Polo Day events subsequently, and being the sponsor or the signature sponsor of those events, it was the consistent theme from event after event. Some sponsors would vary, some individuals that would be involved would vary, but there was a consistent theme of Royal Salute being present. So I very readily associated it with the overall incredibly out of this world, over the top, amazing experience. Truly a luxury experience. And furthermore, I began to engage in the personalities of everyone with Peter, as well as just kind of the crew around everyone. Like there was just there was conversation, and there was education, and we got to the point that we also were learning about the whiskey through various tastings, pairings, the visual of having the rose petal with some drops of the rose oil and things like that. It became a very visual and tactile experience.
Visual and tactile experience. Okay, very interesting. So it was really a round experience, because you're mentioning, so the experience per se, a good exposure to the product, and then you also mentioned the education.
And there was also a personal touch, because I had met in close succession Peter, Malcolm Borwick, Amma. So there are three people kind of associate the brand over the course of multiple venues and events that I became friends with, but also trusted and was able to appreciate that they had a similar sense of appreciation for luxury
Mm,
and and together with those individuals and the people sponsoring the events of British Polo Day, Ben Vesti, Tom Hudson, um, it just became a very natural way to talk about drinking the beverage, but also there was fanfare about it as well,
mm,
where we would do toasts and stand on the table and put the stuff on our head, and they gave us little souvenirs to take home with Royal Salute, and there was a polo jerseys with Royal Salute on it that were or hats that kind of came with it. So everything was very natural. It didn't feel like you were being sold anything
mhm.
or given anything. It wasn't like a marketing at all. It didn't feel at all like there was anything to do with marketing. It was just fun and it's cool to get a polo jersey no matter what's on it. So it's not that you're getting a polo jersey. It's not that you're getting something with Royal Salute's name on it. You were getting a polo jersey, and how cool was that to get a jersey, to get to wear, and it just happened to say Royal Salute on it. So it was just a very engaging process.
Wow, so many interesting concepts in one huge sentence and try to,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry for being very
No,
run on
no, no,
over there, but that's I think it emphasizes the feeling. I think there's multifaceted total encapsulation within a space where the brand is pervasive.
no. Mm-hmm.
There are other brands at such events. Royal Salute and it was not the only brand at these events. There are plenty of other sponsors,
Mm-hmm.
um, VistaJet, RJI Capital, many different sponsors, but the sponsors were in a similar bracket. They were at a similar level. So I think had there been association, had had you guys entered into an environment where there's an event where the event sponsors didn't curate similar such high brand co-sponsors, it would have cheapened the entire process.
So everything was very consistently communicated and executed.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, very good. And so,
And
uh,
casually
mm,
curated, but it felt very casual, intimate, and genuine.
okay. And you mentioned the word trust, that I would like to ask you to kindly elaborate a bit more on that. Why trust was important?
Ooh, trust is integral. I think that when you're a high net worth individual or you're working within um, the space of high net worth individuals, it's
Mhm,
already known that you're going to be able to spend money. You have the capability of doing so.
mhm,
It's evidenced by you being present.
mhm,
But there's also the fear of being taken advantage of and being pushed something and being fed something, kind of like a goose being fattened and to have a fatty liver, where you're just being force fed. There's that risk in some environments, and I find it as well in my business of concierge medicine, where I'm dealing with high net worth individuals. I'm always cognizant that the assistants and the financial managers and everyone else working with my high net patients is potentially trying to filter me out or other doctors out because they are protecting their client from being taken advantage of. And I
mhm,
think there's a subtle concern whenever someone's of high net worth that they're in an environment that people are going to take advantage of them. What's the catch? You're doing all this stuff, but why are you doing all these nice things for me? Where's their catch?
mhm. So, and this is why you appreciated this sense of trust. So you trusted them because you felt protected. You felt, so they were not overwhelming you with.
Firstly, it was an intimate environment with known entities. It felt like a family. So the communication was in intimate settings with small groups, highly personable with regards to knowing our names and everything about us. Targeted, but natural.
Okay, fantastic.
It were as if we were just having a conversation together, and it just so happened to be that there was a alcoholic beverage in the room.
Okay. You mentioned that actually, if I well understood, so you met this environment, these friends, as you mentioned, several times after the first meeting, right?
Yes.
So, and then it happened always in US, or you were invited to, for example, to other events outside US?
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Indonesia, New York, Jaipur, Jodhpur in India, and there's other places too. I can't even recollect the names, but yeah, no, globally.
Okay, and then did you perceive a consistent way of treating you all over these different environments?
Consistent in completely different environments all over the world, whether it's in the deserts between Abu Dhabi and Dubai, whether it was on a resort luxury island in Indonesia, whether it was in New York City, there was consistent messaging.
Okay, and then so you were always invited by Peter's team, so always from for the Royal Salute.
Well, actually, I was for the most part invited through British Polo Day, not Royal Salute directly.
Okay.
So I was actually invited through British Polo Day. There were a couple such events that I was invited to through Peter and Ama's team with Royal Salute. For example, Aspen Polo 2 years ago in Aspen Valley. Like that was through Royal Salute, but the most part was primarily through British Polo Day.
Okay, then so the fact that they are connected, then you met several times over the time. Okay, now I see. And okay, so you appreciated a lot the relationship, the personal relationship, and everything that goes with the team. But what about the product? Can you tell me something about the product per se?
Yeah, absolutely. A presentation of the product. It's in a very elegant but reserved, flagon, if you would. The ceramics, it's pretty. It's the kind of packaging that you'd actually want to keep on the bar, even if it was empty, although you wouldn't. You keep it there even if there was one sip left, just to keep it there.
Okay.
So the presentation with Malcolm Borick signing it, also a nice presentation fact. The blend is palatable. I mean, there's multiple different blends. I like the 38. I think is fantastic. Um, um, in fact, it's funny. I used to even have a couple bottles actually behind me in the office, but then I thought perhaps as a physician, maybe I shouldn't, just because they were great decor. Um, um, I think especially if you have like one or two drops of water, it just would really bring out a complex, full, um, a very complex and full flavor that lasts both in the front of the mouth as well as in the back of the palate. There's an initial very warm sensation that I always have drinking it, but there's no bite at all to it. It's very easy. It's just very easy to drink. And again, as with most beverages and whatnot, the experience that you have is based on that first time that you had it. Like if you were a child and you had your first cherry pie, you'll always love doing it because it's associated. And this is in my world of neuroplasticity, because that's what I'm an expert on. It's all about neurons that fire together, wire together. So if you're firing certain neurons at the same time as you're being happy and having a great time, they'll wire together, and it becomes a permanent fixture.
Okay, but as far as understood, you were drinking whiskey already before knowing and then encountering
Yes,
Royal
yes,
Salute. So,
I've enjoyed whiskey for decades.
okay, and which one was your favorite before meeting? So meeting.
Gosh, you know, I really enjoy Oban.
Mhm.
Um, I would often, um, you know, Glenfiddich I'd have, or which other ones would I really like? I like Oban a lot. I would. I'd have Glen Mirage. The Glens were kind of my world. Glenlivet, Glen Mirage. That was kind of like my little kind of safe harbor that wherever I was at, that's kind of what I would often migrate towards. I never drank Chivas before, really, except on an airplane, maybe the little bottles. So I was never a fan of Chivas before my experience with Royal Salute.
Okay, and now that so which one was your, if you can tell me, which one was your favorite and why?
Um, um, good question. I think previously I really liked Oban.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in all fairness, as much as it's the taste and the flavor, it was strong. It was it was uh, uh, I think it really comes to the experience I had where, you know, I was at a friend's house and we were having an amazing time. And that's when I had Oban first, and that's when I loved it. So I really think it's the initial experience you have associated with the alcohol, positive or negative. You know, if you have a negative experience, you're done. But same with the positive. It was just the first time I had it. That's when I fell in love with it. And then I had it again at the French Laundry in Napa. And so I had it at someone's house, and then I went to a really nice place, and they served it at this nice high level place. And then there was an association. I said, okay, great. Um,
So it's a full
okay.
association of several things, but you're still, anytime you're still coming back to the experience.
The experience, I think, it dominates all for the majority of time. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I see. When you think about Pernod Ricard, uh,
Yes.
do you do you have in mind that comes does it come to your mind another brand or other products from the same family? Do you know, are you
So,
aware about other product categories in the portfolio?
so I think that that's been my my most prominent experience in the past years. Um, um, you know, I think historically of absinthe and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of comes to mind. I mean, I think of Chivas, which I never drank, but you know, I remember when I was in Israel. All the religious Jews that I was with, they would always have shivas and things like that that I remember. Um, um, in terms of in terms of gosh, you know, I mean, uh, you know, I enjoy my whiskey. I do enjoy champagne,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but um, but for the most part, it's whiskey. It's whiskey. It's whiskey when I'm with the boys. It's champagne when I'm with the girls, and it's tequila when I'm just kind of chilling.
But this is really a stereotype. But this is,
I guess, right?
yes. Okay. And then, so what kind of
You know,
champagne?
I've had. I mean, is Is Jameson one of yours? Jameson whiskey as well? I don't
And
know.
actually, it's not me because actually I'm not working for Pernod Ricard.
No,
I'm research.
was it? Yeah. So I wonder. I think Jameson. I think Jameson's one of their brands. But
Mhm.
again, I don't associate. I don't really
Okay.
associate. My association is Chivas and Royal Salute because I I never prior to being exposed to Royal Salute with Peter Prentice and Amma um, and Sandy Hyslop, who is the you know the man behind the product. I never associated a product with a parent company. That
Okay.
was never something I did. I just enjoyed a product for, as I said, the experience. I never thought of the parent company. I believe I only really thought of that in this setting as I was educated more because I needed education. I wouldn't have wanted to learn more. It didn't matter to me. The fact that there were so many encounters after the second, third encounter, I became comfortable where I kind of knew the whole picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very interesting.
And then I wanted to know more.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever
But
visited?
only as it pertained to the product that I was kind of tied to or liked.
Okay. But have you ever visited the any distillery, for example?
Um, I've visited many small distilleries throughout the U.S. I've been invited to go out numerous occasions and have wanted to, but I haven't had a chance. So, for example, Peter's invited me out, and I've wanted to go, but I'm just it's tough. It's tough timing to make it out. Uh, to join to visit the distilleries in I forget where they're located out there, but it's something I enjoy doing. Sure. I go to
Mm-hmm.
distilleries and vineyards. We have a small little vineyard in my family that I enjoy.
Okay.
Some Pinot, something, but it's very young.
Uh-huh. Interesting. So you're a bit uh, knowledgeable about wines in general.
Yes, no, I fairly knowledgeable. I think my girlfriend is a whole lot more knowledgeable. She spent a lot of time in France.
Ah, okay. Okay, I see. So you've never been to France, you've never been to Scotland to visit the distilleries or the vineyards.
I've visited a lot of the vineyards in France,
Oh,
but Scotland is on the list of places I would love to go and have never made it there.
okay. I will be sure Peter will be aware of it. Okay. And then so you mentioned the product, you mentioned the experience, and so what is very important that you mentioned that you are not really aware about the portfolio of brands that belongs to Pernod Ricard. So and then if, for example, the company, the Pernod Ricard will approach you to sell the products, so to
Mhm.
present you the products, would you like it? You would feel it more too pushy or what?
Mm. Gosh, I think I think if I were approached, I would be less comfortable. If I got like an email, I'd immediately be turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I got an email, I'd be turned off, and it would begin to undo the trust relationship that I had established.
Okay. So
Um, if I was approached naturally in another environment, so let's say there was an environment that Pernod Ricard had an event with a brand that I was familiar with and had a relationship with, and they introduced a second brand that happened to be there. Totally cool. I'd be all over it. I'd be totally game, but I don't want to be pushed something.
okay, so this is something you would discard immediately. Very interesting. So and you would love to have more a subtle introduction with another brand. So you don't
Correct.
like being pushed because
Yep.
I guess
It's a turn off, and I run the other way.
okay. And then is there anything that you would like to um, if there yes, actually, is there anything that you think the company Peter is working for should do in order to improve your customer experience? There is something that is missing or something that can be improved?
Sure. No, I'm thinking out loud here. Um, I'm gonna think out loud and say the things that I like, and then I'm gonna think to see if there's a void that I'm missing. Okay, does that work?
Yes, absolutely.
So I love the co-branding association with other high-level products and brands. I find it helpful that there's intimate events within events with people that further appreciate the brand, to have like small tasting groups, and me myself being less knowledgeable initially, but after multiple subsequent small tasting groups with real connoisseurs in the field, collectors and people that are very wise, really built my knowledge, my affinity, and then I developed friendships and relationships with these other individuals that were great consumers and collectors of the brand. So it was a natural way for me to meet people that were informally promoting the brand subtly, not trying to, but just by talking about their experience. So I then had a circle and circles of individuals where I loved the brand, and it became a common point of communication between all of us of shared experiences. I enjoyed the pairings of food with Royal Salute, as well as the unique approach of having the perfumer. I forget the name. Tall gentleman. Gosh, with the he's got a long beard. Super interesting guy. I'd remember his name, but I forgot it momentarily. But having the perfumery discussions and the scents and whatnot, boy, that was educational and exciting and different and unique and stood out. And it was a little bit bizarre, but it really was memorable. So I liked that part of it. I liked the small tokens of gifts, such as a pocket handkerchief that was sent to me, or a small bottle that was sent to me, or the little drinking cups that were sent to me. All those small touches were not over the top. They were spaced out episodically. They were small tokens of uh, of enjoyment that associate me back to the initial event. But if I got things too frequently, it would have turned me off. If I got catalogs or brochures with it, it would have turned me off. I think the maintenance of that relationship with small gifts are good. Um, if they wanted to build the brand for and invites to go to distilleries, awesome, amazing. I'm trying to think what else was missing. I mean, they did a damn near perfect job, but um, um, I'm thinking sometime in the course of a conversation, I'll think of some things that could have been done better or different.
If it doesn't come, it means that
Yeah,
not particular.
it was pretty awesome.
Yes, this is the most important thing. So you're struggling to find something. It means
I
that
have found in many other brands many flaws. Many other brands. I think the experience I've had, particularly with Pernod Ricard, as it comes to Royal Salute, was a bit of an anomaly. It's a very unique approach, which is pretty incredible and very different.
you mentioned that with other brands you had different kind of experiences. It's less.
Yes. So I think that I've had other brands provide excessive tchotchkes or junky little giveaways, things that you'd never use or want that are branded, I think are terrible. Like
Such as, can you give
as like a junky bottle opener, you know, or um, um, some like a hank a like a handkerchief for the face that just doesn't that one would never wear in public. Um, Things that are branded for the sake of branding, I detest. And a lot of companies have these like junky little things they give that you'll never want, that just are clutter and junk. And you feel because they've given you something junky that they're trying to push something.
Okay, it seems it comes less natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
And magazines and whatnot. Now, is there a way that I could maybe buy more and whatnot? It's tough again in Beverly Hills because it's tough to get in the market here. It's an effort to get. But I think what would capitalize me from a marketing standpoint to purchase more? Maybe I think there might be still an opportunity for me to purchase, maybe something very subtle for me to purchase more. But I'm not looking for it and I'm comfortable not being pushed. But maybe there's something, a tiny something that could push more to purchase. But again, I think I've become, yeah, but I think I've become such a great ambassador for the brand personally, just because I love it, that I don't buy a lot of alcohol just to stockpile or collect. I enjoy it, and it becomes a beverage of choice when I'm in company. And it's the type of thing that I give as a gift to people that I appreciate and respect. And by giving it as a gift to someone that might end up collecting it, great. I think I'm the perfect client, and I think that the way it was marketed to me was perfect, because you don't have to have every single client converts to be a massive collector or to purchase it for their hotel or in massive bulk for their liquor stores or whatever it is. I think it's a targeted audience that the individual will easily spread it within their targeted network. And for me, it's the same thing in my practice. I don't have any website. I mean, there's just a tiny website, and I never try to bring in patients to my medical practice because I don't have time for everyone. I want just the 0.00001%. And so the best way I get patients is a patient refers another patient. So I think someone that's enjoying Royal Salute that refers another individual is the best way to get it.
Okay.
It keeps the brand high.
Okay. So you mentioned several things. First of all, let's step by step. So you said that you are gifting Royal Salute, if I well understood. This is something you like. And then why you do that?
Because if I'm going, especially when I'm local in Los Angeles, a lot of my friends and circles are not familiar with Royal Salute. So it's something that is an elevated gift, that someone that has everything, you can give them anything, they have everything in the world. Bring them something that's different, that is unique, that I really enjoy, that has a good experience to me, and the presentation is nice, and there's a story behind it. So I can give it to them and I can tell them the story.
And what's the story? Is the story of the product or the story of something else?
Both. The story is the product and how I became how I learned of the product. And then the story and the appearance of the bottle and the taste. It's just a very easy complex taste. You know, I've never been one prior to drinking Royal Salute. I thought of blends as being a inferior product. I always thought you wanted something pure, like the fact that it's a blend means that it's less than the best. So that was a total re-education that I had to have with regards to Scotch and whiskey.
Okay. Okay, and this is the first part, that was the gifting. The other thing that intrigued me is when you're saying that sometimes you feel that so brands are giving you this junk giveaways, and so I'm interested to know if you can give me some examples about, for example, a bad experience you had with another luxury brand.
Okay. So I've had bad experiences with luxury brands when they send me large catalogs and things like that in the mail. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just trying to think through COVID because it's been a year of not engaging
We
with
forgot how it
any.
was.
Yeah, I've gone to a lot of exclusive events
Mm-hmm.
where you leave the event with a goodie bag. So it's very common, especially in Hollywood, to leave an event with a goodie bag with a bunch of little things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and oftentimes it's there's the main sponsor that might, make the bag
Mm-hmm.
and give you some and sponsor the main event, but it's these smaller brands that put little things in that bag.
Mm-hmm.
I think nearly every single time I've ever gotten a goodie bag, it's all junk. And and even if it's the one thing that's nice in the bag, there's 20 other things in the bag that are junk. So whatever's nice, I associate with the junk, and it just cheapens the brand. So I think if you're going to have events and you're going to market something, be the main sponsor or the second main sponsor, but don't be a tertiary next level lower sponsor because you're actually cheapening your brand. Don't be involved at all. If you're going to be associated in it, there might be some luxury brands that puts things in the goodie bag, but if you're not the top of the game, just don't get involved because you just cheapen yourself.
Okay, so the association with other partners is also very important for you when you attend events.
Hugely important because it's trust. Because what ends up happening is I trusted British Polo Day, so I trusted Royal Salute. And then VistaJet was in there, so I trusted VistaJet. But I can tell you off the top of my head, there's many other, small people that get involved in events, and I don't think of them. I might remember their name, but I don't think anything of them. I think of like the two main co-branded entities that'll stand together.
Okay, I see. I see. So the association is very important. And the last thing that I was discussing with another person in the Peters community, let's call it this way, and then this person was saying, because I was asking, but do you feel overwhelmed when all luxury brands are sending you newsletters, invitations? So what is your
Yes,
feeling?
yes. So what was the question?
So what is your feeling?
Oh, absolutely, completely and utterly overwhelmed, disinterested, turned off, and I begin to erode the trust I have with the brand. I think the way it's hard on mass scale to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're the expert at this field more than I am, but I think the personal touch of Peter reaching out or Amma reaching out or sending a personally curated invite to something or suggestion that something might be interested really works
Mm-hmm.
in this brand and many other brands, luxury brands I've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's events or I think usually it's events. It's usually events
Mm-hmm.
where there's an invitation to something and you go and there can be some heavier placement of new items to show there, but newsletters I hate. I don't have time for emails. In fact, what I'll end up doing is I'll end up, if I get enough, I'll block it and then I'll never get communication from the person I actually want to get communication from.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you prefer these personal messages, this personalized communications only in
Yeah.
general.
Now if I get mail in the mailbox, if the mail I'm okay with a little bit of mail in the mailbox, like not email, but like old school mailbox, as long as it's something that's highly unique.
So, okay. So there is a value in what you're getting. There is an
That's correct.
information, there is a specific contents or something that, so you feel that they know what you like.
That's it. Yes, I do.
Okay, now I see. Okay. I think we did the very good tour around what I need. Is there anything else that you think it is important to know in order to improve your customer experience with the brand?
I think during COVID-19 it was tough the past year, so there hasn't been any engagement over the course of the past year. So I think there could have been a little bit more engagement during the past year, but again, it's tough because how could you do that? You know, you don't want to sound inappropriate when people are suffering to kind of talk about that. So it was a welcome reprieve, but I think now's the right time that the world is beginning to open up. I do think had we not had a conversation and I had not spoken to Peter Prentice, I think right around now is the right time for a touch point. So I think now is the right time that the majority of people that are familiar with this brand and like it and are beginning to start to maybe live life again. So I think now is the right time for a touch point in the next month.
Okay.
A subtle touch point in the next month, I think, is a good opportunity. And I think because the world is woke now and we're all thinking about what's right, I think it has to be in a way that's sensitive um, about what's happening in the world. Maybe it's involved in philanthropy, that maybe there's something demonstrating that the brand is doing something for the world with regards to COVID-19 or something. So nothing blatant, nothing aggressive, but just as a, I think maybe that touching point is, hey, you know, it's been a long year. You know, we at Pernod Ricard have been focusing on this during COVID-19 as a way to give back. We're excited to get to, you know, begin to you know, or some there could be some sort of marketing by sharing something positive about what's that the company is thoughtful, you know, without trying to become something different. I don't think you want to be something different. It's that we want the brand to be the brand, but maybe there's some value in tying in with philanthropy and the global world right now.
Okay, so because are you involved in philanthropy? This is something that you value?
That's something that I value, and I value health because it's my world too. So those are things that might be pertinent to me, maybe not everyone else, but I think for the most part, most business owners and people that are ultra high net worth individuals, the great majority are involved in philanthropy, and the majority have had an active role with regards to COVID in terms of helping their staff, helping their teams. If you have 1,000 employees, suddenly you have a risk of all these people potentially being sick. So we've all become a lot more cognizant of things. So I think maybe there's a subtle way to talk about that. I don't know.
To engage you, to involve you maybe in this different activities.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility there. Again, I don't want to, I mean, again, I'm not the expert on that, but I think what I can say is I think I'm ripe for a touching point, whatever that touching point is, and my mind would be open to learn a tiny bit about Pernod Ricard in this context, because if there's a one-touch update and I hadn't heard anything in a year, and if suddenly I'm hearing something, my attention span might be a tiny bit longer than it usually was. So if there's something important that they want to share about the product or something, I would probably be more receptive now than at other times, as long as it's introduced in a way where it catches my attention with something that's for the good of the world.
Very
and
clear.
They can bury something in there, and I'd pay attention long enough to learn about something they want to share, either about them as a company, that, you know, that they're, whatever it is. If I think that they have an opportunity to pitch something a tiny bit more than they've done in the past, because it can be buried in the guise of just giving us an update and kind of connecting on a human level.
Okay, absolutely. I see what you mean. Very interesting. Thank you so much. Sorry, I forgot to ask you because actually we have almost finished. So I'll let you go in a few minutes. Where are you buying the products? Royal Salute.
You know, for the most part, either through duty free or you know, the liquor store down the road.
Okay, so but did you ever ask for, I don't know, specific size or specific or limited editions? So are you looking for specific products?
So I'm not looking from a collector standpoint.
Mhm.
I'm going to the Beverly Hills, you know, liquor store that's, you know, a couple blocks away from my house, and I'm going in there and asking, you know, can you please order this and keep it on stock for me, and they'll keep on stock a few bottles, and that way I can go by and just kind of pick one up when I'm in the mood.
So you're not really a collector, but you're more somebody who loves and appreciate the product per se.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I think it's all. So thank you. So I would go ahead, but I don't know, of course. So it's more than enough. Thank you really for your passion, for your because it is so tangible. And then so you're passionate about what we discussed about. Thank you for the valuable insights. So we will come back to you as soon as possible, as soon as we will finish. And then if there is anything else you may need from us, and then or whatever, so you know where I am, and then that's it. So for the moment, really thank you, and I wish you a lovely day.
You're welcome. Take care. Have a great afternoon, evening.
Grazie, bye.
Ciao.
Bye.